step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and to buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Pleased to be joined now from Ash Grove High School head basketball coach Grant Williamson and our Chevy dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week, Brady Nicholson. And Coach Williamson, thanks so much for helping set this up today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Coach, and we'll talk a little bit about the team overall. You guys are 6-5 out of the gates here. Played a very tough schedule when you look at just who you had to match up with in the blue and gold. Outside of that, you played Pleasant Hope, was a very good team. They're having a good year. Sparta, obviously, folks know about, and the likes of Fair Grove. But overall, you got to be feel good about where you are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are obviously frustrated. They want to win all of them. So it's been a tough last month or so. We've played a lot of really good teams and kind of went through a really meaty part of our schedule. But I think we're better for it, and our guys are still pretty confident. All of our goals are still there to go try and win conference and a district. And so we've got a tough one tomorrow against Morrisville, looking to get back on track.
You bet. And going into the blue and gold, that first round game, tell us a little bit about what your strategy was there, and then we'll talk about Brady and just a huge, record-breaking night. Just a night for the memories.
Yeah. Well, we knew going in that Willow Springs was a team that liked to play a fast pace, which is very similar to us. They like us. There's not a lot of shots. They're not afraid to shoot, and they've got some guys who can make them. So we knew we'd have to score the basketball, and we'd have to not only put up a lot of shots, but make a lot of shots. And fortunately, he was able to make a lot of them. So.
Absolutely. 50-point output that night, as I understand it, and 39 points by the end of the third quarter. But, Brady, when did you realize that you were getting close to maybe breaking a record? Amino Muhammad, held it, and obviously, a guy playing in the NBA or the NBA Instructional League. Mm-hmm. At what point did you realize, hey, I've got a shot at this?
I had no idea how many I scored until after the game. I was just focused on, it was a close game. So, coming out with a win is the most important for me. And I didn't realize it until, right after the game, one of my friends actually told me that I tied it. But later on, I found out that I actually broke it. And I didn't know the record going into the game. I wasn't planning on breaking the record or anything. It's just, it all kind of worked out, and I was feeling good.
A lot of times when you talk to athletes prior to games, whether it be a pitcher in baseball feeling like, hey, in the bullpen, my fastball is working, my curveball is breaking real well. In basketball, it's kind of a similar thing where in warm-ups, and a lot of the athletes I've talked to when they have these tremendous games, their warm-ups didn't go very well. What was it like just preparing for the game? Did you feel like you had a shot that you were going to get hot? Not break the record, but just felt like you had maybe an opportunity.
Actually, thinking back on it, it was before the game. So, it was really – the game was at 9:30. So, we got to our school, and, we'll have a shoot around for a while. And I was feeling pretty good during that time. I was just, getting my mind ready for the game. And my shots were falling, I felt like.
So, was there any particular spot on the floor? Now, I was not at the game, so I didn't see the outcome. Was there a particular spot on the floor where you felt like if you got to there, it was going down?
Most of the time for me as a player, if I get around 15-foot range, I make a lot of jumpers, and but what was happening in that particular game, it was they knew that I like to shoot jumpers, and they were kind of giving me threes. And in the first half, I got hot and made a bunch of threes in the second quarter. And then they had to kind of adjust to that. And that's whenever I started making jumpers and then getting all the way to the rim. So I kind of was scoring at all three levels.
Coach Williamson, was there at any point during the game where maybe someone came down from the scores table and let you know Were you aware of what the record was, or that he was getting close to it?
Yeah, like him, I had no idea. We were just trying to win a game. We ended up winning by 2. So I was focused on that, and we were struggling to get stops on defense. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we were going to get a stop. Um, so I had no idea. My assistant coach was keeping the book, um, and he made a comment. I think at the end we were shooting some free throws to kind of put it away, and he all he asked was, "What's the most that Brady had ever scored in a game?" Which I knew. I think at that point it had been 40.
Yeah.
And I said, "I think it's 40. Why?" And he goes, "Oh, he'll beat that." But that's the only time I knew about it too.
So Brady, who told you that you had broke the record? I know you said a teammate said you had tied it, and I know Wyatt Wheeler was there, and I was following along with his post, so to speak. But who was the first one to get to you and tell you that you'd broke the record?
It actually wasn't any of my teams on the Ash Grove team. It was my friends from my travel teammates, my team on Yanders Law. Some of the teammates were there, and they sat right behind our bench. And after the game, he yelled at me and told me I scored 49. Which I was like, wow, that's more than I thought. And he said I tied the record, but he miscounted or something, I guess.
Coach, and I know you've got a lot of experience. I know as a player at the high school level and then coaching at the collegiate level. Have you seen a player, had a player that you felt like had gotten that hot in your past?
Only one other time I can remember. I was actually at the game, so maybe 2 times. I was at the game where Aminu scored, had originally broke the record, and obviously that was very impressive to watch. And then one time in college, there's a guy that was playing down at C of O from Neosho, Ethan Murray, and I think it was his senior year. Our first game, we were up at William Penn, and he could not miss. Like you talked about, he was in one of those zones, and he finished with 40-something points, I think, that game. So that's about the only other time I can remember something like that.
Very good, and Brady, you're a senior. You're a senior, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've made your decision as far as next year. Tell us a little bit about that. What went into that decision?
I mean, just a lot of summers and work with Coach Rob Yanders with my travel team, and the jury coach had been coming to my tournaments and had a great relationship with me and Coach Rob, and that's where we decided to go. And he gave me a scholarship there, so I was happy to stay around close to home and go to a school that really suits me.
Very nice. And Brady, being a senior, if you could, knowing what you know right now, if you could go back to that 8th grader, freshman Brady Nicholson, and give yourself some advice based on what you know now, I mean, what advice, if you could go back in time, would you give that 12, 13-year-old Brady Nicholson?
Get ready. Because, that change from 8th grade to freshman year was huge. Just everybody is so much stronger than me. I've always been really long and lanky, but I don't know. I guess just get ready. I don't really know.
Very good. Very good. Well, Coach, you've got Morrisville. You're at Morrisville, at Diamond, and then Sarcoxy, and then you go into the 39th Annual Spokane Invitational. Tell us about this upcoming couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a big week for us. We haven't played since the Blue and Gold, and we're at Morrisville. They're playing really well right now, and it's always a tough place to play. So that'll be a challenge tomorrow night. And then next week we start into our first conference games. So like you said, at Diamond and then Sarcoxy. So hoping to kind of get off on the right foot with conference there. And then the Spokane tournament is a really good one. We just had the seed meeting for that yesterday, and it's got Greenwood and Stratford and Blue Eye, us, Southwest, Cassville, Reed Springs, Spokane. I mean, it's a top to bottom, I think just about anybody could beat anybody in that tournament. So that'll be a good one for us to play in.
Kind of prepares you for that district. I know you're Class 2, I believe District 12, and it's College Heights, Jasper, Liberal, Miller, Thomas Jefferson, and Verona, I believe. Do you get to see any of those teams? I think Miller maybe even in your conference.
Yeah. Miller is a conference opponent. Other than that, we actually don't have any of those teams on the schedule, and I don't think we'll see them in a tournament. So,
well, outstanding. Well, again, on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks and presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations, Brady, on being named a Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I have one more question because I'm a mandated reporter. Do you wear your seatbelt?
Yes, I do.
All the time?
All the time.
Very good. Well, hey, you guys have a great day. Again, congratulations. Coach Williamson, thanks so much for setting this up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.